it's important to get this video and get it out everywhere, because they will try to take it down. They will try to block it, but it's important to get the full video out there. And of course, Mr. O'Keefe doesn't go over the hell he's gone through, being sued, arrested, but always defeating it later for telling the truth. He literally is walking point for everybody. But here's the issue. Notice, and I said this, I said the website, I said the system will not work. I said, you watch, because the bill doesn't give you free health care, doesn't do all this. And then, of course, that's the plan. Then send you to the community organizers who are Democratic operatives, and you have that on the video, saying that they then hand it over to the Democrats, and you're literally being enrolled into the Democratic Party for the federal money. So this is just a mainlining of what they've always been doing, and then make the country socialist. Everybody will vote to take our guns and make us slaves. James O'Keefe, tell folks what else is on the video.
So, Alex, on the rest of the video, there's a clip of these two offices, National Urban League, which get $400,000 in federal taxpayer money to sign people up for Obamacare in Texas, counseling our reporter who says he's a smoker. He says, just lie so that your premiums can be lower. That's a crime. You can't lie about your health status to the federal government. And then there's also video footage of Enroll America, which is a 501c3 group, sharing and cross-pollinating data with a political action committee called Battleground Texas. The purpose of Battleground Texas, in simple terms, is to turn Texas blue, because these people think that Texas is a non-voting state. So if they just sign a lot of people up to vote, it'll turn into a Democratic state. They're using Enroll America and Obamacare as a mechanism to turn Texas into a blue
That's right.
state.
And Texans had better stop taking it for granted that we're safe and we're going to keep our guns and stuff. No, they have announced this is their target. They will break Texas. Go ahead.
So what we're going to be looking at in part two, and Navigator fraud is bad. These are the troops. These are the ground troops, if you will, the people who sign people up. So it's very important we expose all these navigators, which we will do. But even more important than that is the leadership of Enroll America, and they have a project called Get Covered America, which is a project of Enroll America. This organization is getting data, your medical data, your names, your telephone numbers, maybe even your social security numbers, and they're using that to get out the vote. They're using that for political purposes, which is a violation of your privacy, and it's against the law. And that's what we're going to be doing in the coming days. We're going to be releasing that tape.
Amazing, and you just released this. I would imagine you're getting silence from the state-run media, but what media is picking this up?
Right now it's on the top of Drudge Report, which is very helpful. Alex, they can try to censor me on the state-sponsored media all they want, but it's viral on Facebook. It's got 20,000 shares on Facebook. It's going insanely viral. Local media is on fire. The Dallas newspaper is reporting on it. The senator, both U.S. senators in Texas are commenting on it. The Attorney General's office in Texas is going to be issuing a statement shortly, according to one source. So they can try to censor me, which they've done for my whole life. But the fact of the matter is, once you get these government officials commenting and the workers may have to resign, there might be a criminal indictment. As soon as that comes to pass, then we'll start releasing the next tape. And that's really how we infiltrate the mainstream media.
Well said. Come back with one more segment. James O'Keefe, ladies and gentlemen, he, of course, is the founder and the head director of ProjectVeritas.com. Could not be a more hardcore, pro-liberty, pro-reality investigative journal group. You can see our articles up at Infowars.com covering it, Obamacare, the truth about navigators, and then it goes on to break down all the history of fraud. James O'Keefe, who heads up the Veritas Project, or Project Veritas, always flip it around backwards, Project Truth, is with us, and I want to play this final clip and get your take on it. This, again, is the Democrats masquerading as Obama enrollees, saying their goal is to turn the state into a Democratic stronghold, all the better to then milk it, of course. Here you go.
And their purpose, in simple terms, is to turn Texas blue. So we're a grassroots organization dedicated to turning Texas blue. Yeah. Turning Texas into a battleground state.
If we can change that, we can change the course of elections. We can rule pretty drastically.
Now, Battleground Texas has a long-term strategy. They're not just going to play until 2014. They go home.
This thing is a long-term process. I mean, this is years coming.
Yep, it's a military operation, and they are in charge, and they say on MSNBC, your kids belong to them. So this is how they build an empire. They don't build widgets or farms or jobs. They run your life, and they will run it. And they're the slave masters of old, reborn as the loving trendies. And the Republican Party is run by some of the same people, so they won't oppose it at the national level. James O'Keefe, any other points you want to make about what we're dealing with here? And I bet you're bracing for the repercussions. These folks never sit back when you expose what they do secretly.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if it's Kathleen Sebelius who's involved in our website being forbidden 403, or if it's or if it's the NSA, but or if it's the traffic. But you know, in terms of repercussions, this is not my first rodeo, Alex. I've been subpoenaed half a dozen times. I've been sued. I've been incarcerated for a crime I didn't commit. And at this point in time, what we're looking for a breakthrough into the mainstream media, and the way we think we can do that is by just continuing to release these tapes one by one. And I think we might actually get the attention of the White House on this one. I think if we keep releasing these navigators, and they launch, you know, criminal investigations into them. You know, this, you know, Texas is not as bad as New York or California in terms of the repercussions towards me, because Texas is a one-party consent state.
Sure, but what they do is they collapse California and New York and then send their vanguard as vampires to suck us dry. So we commend what you've done. They're going to flee the cities they already sucked dry and the states they already sucked dry. But yes, we hope they don't try to set you up again. But again, your book, we sell it at InfoWarsStore.com. It's breakthrough. It's a riveting story of all your exploits, but also a roadmap, a manifesto, a battle plan for other citizen journalists to absolutely, I mean, I tell my journalists, look at this. This is the model of investigative journalism. Go ahead, final comments.
Yeah, Alex, I think you're right. I think, you know, to be, as I said last time I was on your show, you know, to be a journalist these days, you got to go out into the wilderness. You have to be independent. You can't do it if you're part of the establishment. So I encourage others to do the same.
Well, God bless you. We want to get updates, obviously, this week and next week from you, James O'Keefe. Godspeed, my friend.
Thank you so much.
All right, there goes James O'Keefe. And, of course, he heads up Project Veritas, and their site is down right now, probably because of mega traffic. But they have tried to block these videos before. Get them out to everybody. This is an info war.
Well, your taxpayer dollars aren't just being wasted by paying off the banksters. Obamacare has proved to be just one big waste of federal funds. The new problem that's plaguing the Unaffordable Care Act is actually coming from the government-paid workers who are supposedly trained to uphold the law. In an undercover investigation, Project Veritas found out that instead, they're advising clients on how to lie on government forms, evade legal requirements, and ignore proper procedures.
Obamacare navigators that receive millions of dollars of federal taxpayer money telling applicants to lie about their health status.
Lie because your premiums will be higher.
Okay. Obamacare navigators advising applicants that they always lie.
Don't tell him. You told me about that.
Yeah, but don't tell him.
I always allow mine.
Okay. Obamacare navigators counseling applicants how to defraud the federal government.
Making money on a cash basis.
Okay.
Don't get yourself in trouble by declaring it now.
Exactly.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
Yeah, okay.
But definitely with that other, just act as if that
did not happen. Okay.
Never report.
Project Veritas heads to Texas to expose Obamacare navigator fraud.
We're running a campaign called Get Covered America.
We are right now in 11 states. Obviously, with Texas being the biggest.
Enroll America claims they are a nonpartisan 501c3.
Okay. This is a 501c3, so it's purely a nonprofit. It's nonpartisan, non-political.
But even their volunteers believe they were a branch of the DNC.
Brian Pendleton speak today. He is with Enroll America, which is the official group for the DNC.
Enroll America appears to be sharing data and working directly with a political action committee called Battleground Texas. Both groups were active in guiding people towards signing people up on the new government-run healthcare exchanges. Remember, providing data, mailing lists, or other valuable resources from a 501c3 to a political action committee is prohibited unless certain conditions are met.
Battleground Texas, and we're a Democratic organization.
I am.
Battleground Texas is a political action committee.
If you've never heard of Battleground Texas, we are new to the state, and we were started by President Obama's National Field Director.
And their purpose, in simple terms, is to turn Texas blue.
The total value of grants doled out for Democratic operatives to knock on your door and encourage you to help turn Texas into a welfare state? $67 million taxpayer dollars. And you thought that we were broke. Nope, there's always enough money to run this country into the ground. And one of the ways that they're going to do it is with this new socialized health care. Navigate this. Just look at that. This was a little graph put together by the Joint Economic Committee to try and help you navigate through this new healthcare system. Look at everything is going to be funneling through the Sebelius Secretary Health and Human Services hub there. That looks like a disaster. But those guys make Obamacare look like it's hard to navigate through and difficult. And who wants to sign up to get involved with that? Let's see what another nonpartisan group makes it look like to sign up for Obamacare.
The bigger changes are coming for those who work for larger companies but aren't covered now. That's because the government is going to require companies with 50 or more employees to cover full-time workers or pay a penalty. So more workers may find themselves covered.
But what that video isn't telling you is that those employers are going to have to pay for health insurance out of their operating budget. That's right, because Obamacare is not a tax. So now companies that operate on a very tight budget are going to have to either make their employees be part-time or shut their doors altogether. But that video, you know what, it makes it look easy to enroll for Obamacare, which, by the way, I think the current enrollees total around 100,000. So you want to compare that with 5 million cancellations so far.